Hello everybody, back here again for our vlog a day, and today is Monday the 5th, also known as Labor Day. Got this morning, fairly early time, not too bad. Got around, got a couple things done, got the dogs fed, got them outside, jumped in the hot tub for a little bit, and then from there, kind of sat around the morning after I got out of the tub. Myself, nice little cigar, hung out with the dogs outside, let them play. Nice cool weather, it's just so much better that way. So from there, talked to my wife. She got up, she got around, got a couple things done. We got to chatting and stuff about what was going on for the day. She wanted to go do some antique shopping. We're looking for a like hutch or a cabinet or a china hutch or I don't know, beside buffet, something to put in the breakfast nook, I guess you'd call it, off our kitchen. And talk about going to like the furniture stores. I'm like, I don't want that particle board shit. Like, it's still gonna cost like $2,500 and it's gonna be garbage. I'd much rather spend, even if it's $1,200 or $800, I don't want it. I'd much rather go spend $3,000 to $5,000, whatever size it takes, and get a true custom 100+ piece, some antique piece that's gonna have character and have, I don't know, style to it. So she called around and basically found a few places that were open. And we said we'd head over there. So we jumped in the car, asked her what she wanted to take. She wanted to do that. So jumped in the car. She forgot her hat. She was supposed to leave a hat in the car and she didn't. So every time we go anywhere now, she don't have her hat. Her hair gets all messed up. But she lives with it. So went ahead from there, went downtown to Canal Street where she thought the shop was. I think where it might have used to be. And walked up and down Canal Street, hit a bunch of little shops, but more knick-knack-knee touristy shops and stuff. Some handmade, really cool high-end stuff, but nothing we needed and nothing we really wanted. And it was super dead. It was amazing how dead it was. Everybody was at the beach or somewhere else, but they were not there yet in the day. So definitely was nice. Found easy parking. Found a few items that were really cool looking, but nothing I wanted to pay for. There was one really cool, like there was 3 fish carved out of stones, like angel fish, and they had a light behind it so you could see the light going through the stone. It was translucent, and it was on like a little wooden stand. And I was looking at it, I'm like, it was like $14.95, but when I first read it, I thought it said, actually I thought it was $4.25, and I'm like, or $5.25. I was like, well, that's not horrible. I mean, it's overpriced, but it's not bad. Looked at it, I realized, nope, they didn't mislabel the dollar sign. That was $1,525. So I was like, no, you're about $1,000 over what I wanted to spend, and you're probably $1,300 more than actually you wanted to spend. So I went ahead and just kind of passed on that one, because definitely needed to spend $1,525 on a little figurine to sit on my shelf that wasn't by like a known artist or nothing. It was came out of, I don't know, Belize or Honduras or who knows where they had it made. But it's one of the things, the person making it probably got $17, and by the time you get all the tariffs and the markups and the crazy prices, they're like, oh, we're helping out these communities. I'm like, are you really? You're making $1,500 off of them profit. Seems like it's hard to say you're really helping out a community, but I went ahead and said hell with it. From there, we headed out, had a couple other things to do. Ended up, she called the actual antique shop, found out where they're at now, which I think that's where they moved to, because she remembers them being downtown. So went there and checked it out. On the way there, we saw another antique shop that was open, so we thought we'd go back and check it out afterwards, because the way the road's divided, it's hard to get there. So went to the first antique shop, walked around, did the whole thing. Saw one hutch that could possibly work, and it was particle board garbage that was from some store somewhere, whatever, that I was measuring it just kind of see if it fit. It looked super tiny in the room in the antique store, but compared to your house, it's way different. And it was about 8 inches smaller than I would want, and about 24 inches smaller than what I could accept in that spot. We have our maximum measurements in there, and they still wanted $800 for this particle board piece of crap. And I was like, no, I'm good, man. And I said, but is there any place else that sells these, you know, more options of these, you know, style and design and whatnot? And he's like, oh, the furniture stores probably have it, but that'll be $1,500 there. I'm like, yeah, I don't want like antique, I want vintage, I want like real, you know, type stuff. He's like, oh, and they're in an antique shop, don't forget. He goes, oh, there's a place where there's stuff, blah, blah, this says vintage on it. It's gonna be way overpriced. It's gonna be super expensive. I'm like, dude, you're in a fucking antique store where everything in here is overpriced because it says vintage and antique on it. Like, you kind of, I don't know, read the room a little bit, buddy. Like, doesn't make sense. And you're an employee here. Like, how sad is that shit? But he told us about a place over in DeLand that I've been before. I don't remember them having what I'm looking for, but they might have more idea of where to find it. So I just got to start looking, keep an eye out. We don't need it before we move in, but it'd be nice if we're gonna just use it to our extra things like mixers and blenders and all that kind of good stuff. So hopefully we get it figured out and it'll be good to go. But we left there, went to the next antique shop, and there was somebody there who had built out of old wood a kind of like a bar table, I guess is the best way to describe it, with antique like hinges and stuff on, antique handles and all that kind of junk. And it was nice, had a slate top, but it was way too deep for what we needed and not really attractive. It didn't really work for us for what we were at, and it was two-sided and it was ridiculous. But I told her, so if you want to ask the guy who made this and then see if you can't talk to him and get a custom piece made, because clearly it looks very antique-y, looks very old, it has a nice character and charm to it. And if we get rid of that slate top, which we don't really need, I'd like to put some hutch, you know, cabinet shelves above it, we could do a different top, like a butcher block or, you know, slabs, whatever kind of thing, and kind of design it the way we want, but use old wood and get that antique look, but the exact fit we want. And she didn't ask him for that, so I don't know if she just hasn't made her mind up yet or what. So we'll have to go from there and see what happens, but who knows, it is what it is there. So from there, we left there, headed out, we got back home, got a couple other things done around here, hanging out with the dogs, went and got my run in, got my shower. Before I got my shower, I started the grill up actually, because we were gonna have burgers tonight. So they ended up making a regular hamburger and turkey mix, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So I hate working my turkey. Ground turkey just is gross. It's just slimy. Not a big fan of it. So if you guys can patty it out, I'd much appreciate it. So I think my mom patted them out, and all that was good to go. Got the grill going, went in, got my shower, came back out, the grill's nice and hot. Chucked the burgers down on it, and they just turned into meatballs instead of hamburgers. They were like almost as round, almost as tall as they were round. It was crazy. So in the process of picking them all up, put them on a plate, they didn't fit, like 9 of them, 10 of them, whatever it was. And I was putting the last one on top of the plate, the damn thing rolled off like a meatball. And the dog was there, the one I'm watching, the healer, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna eat it. I'm like, don't. I'm like, you're gonna burn your mouth, man. Like, you're gonna, this thing just came off the grill. It's super juicy and stuff. You're gonna spray hot liquid all over your face. So I kind of gave him a little bit of a scold, and I'm like, no, don't you dare. So he looked at it, he was confused as all get out. So I had to get him inside real quick. Got the hamburgers put away, and then went back out and got that one and threw it away, so it didn't get him hurt. I didn't want a dog burn his mouth real bad on nothing. And then had herself a nice little meal, you know, watched some NCIS, talked to the owner. He was supposed to pick the dog up, and I guess they had a flat tire, and they had some other van troubles, and they were coming back with 2 different vehicles, and it was a mess. So they were like, oh, we're gonna be about this time getting home. I'm like, okay, according to your time frame, you'll be here by like 8, and it got delayed again. It's gonna be closer to 9. And I'm like, well, if we, you know, we have to do it tomorrow, we can, but if we can do it today, I'd prefer it today. Pick it up tonight, whatever. And he was like, oh, either way, I'm gonna tip you some money. He kept like talking about money on the Rover app, but I'm like, stop talking about money on the Rover app, but Venmo me shit, because I'll get me kicked off this app. So went ahead, he ended up Venmoing me some extra cash for the extra day, and he decided to pick the dog up tomorrow, and we're just gonna do it after work tomorrow, I think is what our plan is. The other option is that if I need to, I can drop the dog off at his house. He'll give me the code to the garage, get in, but I think we'll be fine. So went ahead, said hell it, gave up on that whole part of getting the dog back tonight. He's not hard to deal with, he's wanting to pee on everything, wanting to hump stuff all the time, but we had a lot of good fun out here. He's such a color, man. He would be such a great dog. A little bit of work, he would definitely, could be an amazing dog. One of the ones that they never should back up, I'd probably keep, but it'd take me a while to get him trained into being fully socialized with all their dogs. He needs some work with that, but I think it's fixable. He's 2 years old, and it'd be perfectly easy to do, I think. But yeah, went ahead, had myself a nice little cigar outside in the evening with gorgeous, gorgeous weather. Finally headed in, ate a big old bowl of watermelon, wrapped up and called it a night. So that's all I got for right now. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe, wonderful day. Thanks for watching.